Have you ever heard the story of the man who fell off a cliff, yet still smiled? They say that as he was falling, instead of screaming, "I'm going to die," he whispered, "I'm going to fly." And the strange thing is, instead of crashing into the rocks below, he landed on a branch, suspended in midair. A branch he never knew existed. Some call it luck. Florence Scovel Shinn called it spiritual law. She once wrote, "There is no chance, no accident in the divine plan. Every so-called failure is simply redirection." And if you're watching this video right now, perhaps you too are standing at the edge of your own cliff. Not to fall, but to fly. Because you didn't come here to wait for a miracle. You came to activate one. We are living in a time where everyone is talking about manifesting vision boards, affirmations, the law of attraction. But what most people don't talk about is this. You cannot manifest what you don't believe you deserve. Florence didn't just teach people how to wish, she taught them how to command. "Your word is your wand," she wrote, "and never has that been truer than it is today. I know you've tried. You've written your desires down. You've pasted your dreams on your wall. You've repeated affirmations like, 'I am wealthy, I am loved, I am free.' But deep down, a voice still whispers, 'I'm not ready.' And that one whisper can dissolve everything you're trying to draw into your life. Let me tell you a story. In 1920, Florence Scovel Shinn, an unknown artist, lost everything. Her home, her income, her name. And in the deep silence of her loss, she turned inward towards spiritual law. She began to declare what she could not yet see. "I am light, I am wisdom, I am abundance." No one believed her, but she believed herself. And just a few years later, she became one of the most influential spiritual teachers of all time. Not because she knew how to write, but because she lived the vibration of what she preached. So, what about you? What are you waiting for before you start living as who you truly are? Are you waiting for the money to come? For someone to believe in you? For the perfect moment? Florence once said, "Man must prepare for the thing he has asked for when there isn't the slightest sign of it in sight." If you've ever felt like your dream is too big, remember it didn't come to torment you. It came as an invitation from the universe asking, "Are you ready to become the one who can carry this?" And it is here in this moment, when you choose not wish, that the miracle begins. Not because the world has changed, but because you have changed. And the world only mirrors that back to you. In the next part, we will explore why belief is not enough and why alignment is what truly manifests your desires. And most importantly, how to move from "I'm trying" into "I already am." It begins with the words you speak each day, with the energy you bring into every room, with the voice you use when you speak to yourself. Because as Florence once said, the subconscious is not moved by words alone, it is moved by tone, by vibration, by knowing. Did you know that Florence Scovel Shinn didn't begin her spiritual teaching at the height of her success? Not at all. She stepped into her calling from the depths of loss. Before she became the author of spiritual classics like The Game of Life and How to Play It, Florence was an illustrator living in New York at a time when women had barely any voice, and art was far from a path paved with ease. After years of marriage, she divorced. Rejected, misunderstood, stripped of finances. Florence stood alone at life's threshold. No one beside her, no assets, no direction. And yet it was there that her soul awakened. In the silence and pain, she turned inward. She sat with the questions. Why am I going through this? Who am I when every outer title disappears? And then the answer didn't come like thunder, it came like a whisper. Life is not happening to you. It is responding to you. Florence began to speak to herself as if she were royalty. Each morning she declared, "I am divine wisdom. I am guided by spiritual law. Miracles come to me every day." No one taught her to do this. No inspiration led her. She simply followed a deep inner knowing, what we today call the higher self. From an unknown woman, she became a spiritual guide to thousands, not through grand speeches, but through her energy alone. She lived as if the miracle had already occurred, and the universe had no choice but to reflect it back. So if you are in your darkest season, If you're feeling lost, if nothing you try seems to work, I invite you to look in the mirror and ask, who am I living as right now? Someone defeated or someone being refined to become who they truly are? Because as Florence once said, God's delays are not God's denials. Delay means that the necessary preparation is being made before your desire is realized. This isn't about positive thinking. This is about whether you have the courage to peel away the layers of doubt that have taken root inside you. Do you have the bravery to speak aloud what you truly want, even if no one claps for it? And do you dare to live as if it is already true, even when no one else sees it? Florence didn't need the world to believe in her. She only needed to believe in herself. And that belief created a magnetic force so powerful that what she wrote, what she said, and what she lived became a light that awakened a generation. You don't need to be famous. You don't need millions in the bank. You just need to start believing in your own power today. Let this question echo through your heart. If what you desire were already yours, how would you act right now? If no one but you could see your dream, would you still protect it? In this community, we don't wait for permission to dream. We don't follow reality, we create it. If something I've said is stirring something within, you know this. You are not alone. I invite you to comment below, I choose to believe. Let this community hold you. Let your words become the bridge to the life you desire. We read every comment. We connect. We create a field of energy for those ready to live by faith, not fear. And in the next part, you'll discover what Florence emphasized more than anything else. Act as if, not pretending, but rehearsing who you truly are at a higher frequency. Together, we'll unlock what happens when you walk as though the dream has already arrived, and how to move through doubt using energy, not logic. Because faith knows it is done, fear keeps checking. So I ask you, are you ready to step into the lead role of your own life? Florence Scovel Shinn never taught that you needed to deserve miracles. She was clear you have always been worthy. You simply forgot. Imagine a rose seed. It doesn't have to prove anything to bloom. It only needs the right conditions, light water patience. You are the same. You don't need to get it right to be enough. You only need to remove the layers of doubt water your roots with belief, and stay aligned with the energy. Florence once wrote, intuition is a spiritual faculty and does not explain, but simply points the way. Meaning you won't have all the answers, but you'll feel the direction, and that's where the miracle begins inside you. But what happens when we choose not to believe? Let me tell you another story, not of triumph, but of the opposite. In the same New York where Florence once lived, there was a woman named Eleanor. Eleanor had once dreamed of being a designer. She had sketched since childhood, adored fashion, and even had a chance to intern at a major label. But on the day of her first big interview, when the manager asked, "Why do you think you're right for this job?" Eleanor froze. She answered, "I'm not sure, I just hope for a chance." Hope, not belief, not declaration, just wishing from a place of unworthiness. In the end, she wasn't selected. And every time she faced rejection after that, Eleanor would whisper to herself, "See, I knew I wasn't good enough." Over time, she gave up. Her dream went to sleep in a drawer. Her talent turned into regret. I tell you this story not to make you sad, but to make something clear. In the same city, same era, both women, one chose faith, the other chose doubt. And what shaped their futures was not their circumstances, but the energy they carried into life. Florence once said, "What man condemns in others, he attracts to himself. What you judge, you draw. What you doubt, you delay. But what you believe as if it's already true, you bring into being." So don't say, "I hope for an opportunity." Say, "Opportunity is already available to me, and I am ready to receive it." Dear soul, if today you feel more like Eleanor than Florence, know this. You can still choose again. Consciousness is a frequency, not a sentence. And you can rewrite your life the very moment you shift your vibration. Leave a comment below, "I choose to believe," and be present. This isn't just a phrase. It's a vow to yourself. We, the community of those who walk by light, see you. You are not alone. We are here to help each other hold the frequency when the outside world shakes our faith. Share your story. Connect with others who are awakening too. Because when you speak your truth, you don't just heal yourself, you become a beacon for others. And in the next part, we'll dive into the most invisible and most powerful law of all, vibration. Florence taught, you do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. So how do you become what you desire? How do you shift your energy from I'm trying to, I already am? Stay with us because the next part is a turning point. You'll discover how to speak to the subconscious, the place where all true miracles begin. There's one truth Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized over and over in her teachings, yet so many people today miss it. It's not your words that create your reality. It's the frequency you speak them from. You can stand in front of a mirror and repeat, I am abundant, I am worthy, I am successful. But if inside you there is trembling doubt or a quiet, I hope this works. The universe doesn't hear your words. It hears your posture. Posture, as Florence understood it, is not just your body language. It's the energy attitude you bring when you enter a room. It's the unshakable belief you radiate when you look someone in the eye. It's how you introduce yourself at an interview, not just with a name, but with your frequency. Let me give you a specific scene. You're about to walk into an interview for your dream job. You've read your affirmations all week, you're dressed your best, and you arrive on time. But when you enter the room, your voice shakes slightly. You say, I really hope for this opportunity. I think I can do a good job. Polite words. But what's the energy behind them? A quiet plea to be accepted. A posture of, I'm not sure I'm worthy. Now imagine the same room, same you. But this time you walk in and say, I'm happy to be here today. I believe I can create real value for this company, and I'm ready to begin whenever you are. The words are still simple, but the posture is completely different. This isn't arrogance. It's the vibration of knowing. Knowing who you are. Knowing you're worthy. Knowing the opportunity is also seeking you, not just you seeking it. Florence called this spiritual posture, and it cannot be faked. You can't act like someone with faith. You have to become it inside out. It's like when you walk into a room. You may not say a word, but everyone feels the state you're in. Confident or quietly needing validation. Clear in purpose, or uncertain and searching. Ready to receive or still waiting to be chosen. Frequency doesn't lie. And the subconscious doesn't respond to words. It responds to vibration. Florence once wrote, faith is expectancy. You get what you prepare for. This means you don't wait for proof to believe. You prepare as if it's already done. You live as though it's already real, not pretending practicing the energy. So take a moment to reflect on your current life. What posture are you living from? Love or lack? Freedom or fear of scarcity? Success or survival? Comment below, I choose to walk as the one who already has what I desire. Not just for fun, but to anchor that declaration into your nervous system. Every comment, every share is an energetic activation. You are recoding yourself right here, right now. And you are not alone. We are here holding the frequency with you, one aligned step at a time. Now imagine a world where everyone walks in the posture of, I have already received. No more comparison competition or begging for chances. Only humans living in alignment with their soul frequency. And that world begins with you. With the way you rise tomorrow morning and step out of bed as if the universe is conspiring with you. With the way you open emails, speak to your children, pay your bills as if you are already living the life that was always meant for you. In the next part, we'll open another sacred doorway. How Florence Scovel Shinn spoke to the subconscious, the place where all true transformation begins. Because yes, you can say the right things and live the right posture. But if your subconscious still holds the old script, you'll always feel like you're circling back to square one. We'll explore how to rewire the subconscious, break through limitations, and become the most magnetic force on earth, your true self. I'll meet you in the next chapter, where you'll meet the version of you who no longer doubts their own power. Dear soul, picture a witch not the kind who brews potions or commands monsters in fairy tales, but one who tends to the sacred fire within, who creates transformation from the deepest part of her being. Florence Scovel Shinn didn't write with spells. She wrote with spiritual lore, and that is the truest form of magic. You are the witch of your own life. But this power does not come from a wand. It comes from the energy you carry, the intention you hold, the frequency you emit. Do you remember when Florence said your word is your wand? That wasn't just a beautiful phrase. It was a pressure of energy, a destiny declared through vibration, not mere syllables. Have you ever seen your own words become reality, even in the smallest ways? Like when you quietly said to yourself, "Today I will handle this with calm," and you truly did, gracefully and effectively. That was the witch energy at work within you. On the other hand, if you say, "I'm afraid," your subconscious listens and brings about hesitation, withdrawal, pulling that energy into your reality. Let me share a small story. My friend Lily used to fear public speaking. One day she whispered to herself, "I am the witch of positive magnetism." She wore no hat, had no props, just stood tall, warm voice and said, "I am here to share light." That light radiated effortlessly. No one could explain it, but everyone felt it, and she shone. You can be Lily. No flashy spells needed. Just a shift in frequency, a commitment to wholeness, and you begin to create real magic. Thank you for walking with us this far. If you feel something resonating, if you sense the witch energy awakening within you, comment below, "I am the witch of my own life." Not to boast, but to affirm. To let your subconscious register that you have chosen the lead role, and your inner light is no longer hidden. We are a community awakening together. We hold the frequency of soul, and when you comment, you are not alone. You are part of a sacred space where miracles are not fantasy, but reality, being rewritten by conscious energy. In the next part, we'll go deeper into shadow work, how the witch meets her darkness and alchemizes it into light. How you can release the energetic blocks that stand between you and your dreams. You'll learn how even in the darkest corners of fear, the light of truth still flickers, and that is where life truly begins. See you in the next chapter, where Mother Nature and spiritual power meet in soft, luminous transformation. Dear one, if you've made it this far with me, then somewhere inside you, a small flame is beginning to stir again. Not a flame lit by fleeting motivation, but by a deep awakening. You do not need to be chosen by the world to live the life of your dreams. You have already been chosen by your own soul. Florence once wrote, "Man must prepare for the thing he has asked for, when there isn't the slightest sign of it in sight." And you, reading these very words, have already begun, preparing through your presence, your listening, your intention, held quietly in your heart. You don't have to wait for the perfect day. You simply need to decide. Today is the day I step into the most whole version of myself. Remember, you're not here to try to be worthy. You're here to remember that you have always been worthy. And if something today stirred, you know that it isn't something new but something ancient within you that is waking up. You're welcome to leave a sacred affirmation in the comments below. I am ready to live as who I've always been. This is not just a sentence. It is energy. It is a declaration. It is a doorway you open for your soul to walk through. If this journey has stirred something in you, I invite you to subscribe, not for the numbers, but because we are building a community of light, of awakening, of souls who no longer live in doubt, but in remembrance. Each week, I'll share a new path, a spark of spirit in the dark to help you remember. You are the creator. You are the tuner of the frequency of your life. When you walk away from this video walk as a being of light, you do not need to have everything to live fully. You only need to recognize that you have always been a part of everything that is whole. Because in the end, life never waits for you to be ready. It responds the moment you tell the universe, "I have chosen, I am ready, I remember who I am." I'll see you in the next video, where we will not only learn to live by spiritual law, but to merge with the symbols, the light and the shadow, to become the living masterpiece of the divine in this lifetime. I am here with you, and the light in me always honors the light in you.